Don't you just love when you're listening to an album with seemingly no features on it, there's no mentions of any on the track list, and then boom, out of nowhere your favorite rapper pops up with a show-stopping uncredited feature? Yeah, I quite like it when that happens. Are my lights too bright? I feel like I might look a bit washed out. So as a little shorter, fun video, before I work on my next big project style of video, thank you for all the love and support on the DJ Khaled video, by the way. I'm gonna be sharing my favorite personal examples of the uncredited feature phenomenon. But right before we get started with that, today's video is sponsored by Wonder. If you're not already familiar with Wonder, it's an app that can turn words into digital art. The way it works is that you enter a prompt, for example, pink monkey riding a bike. Then you choose an aspect ratio, you choose an art style for it. You've got stuff like pen and ink, novelistic, and oil painting. And Wonder brings your idea to life in seconds. It's really useful if you need some help visualizing your ideas and getting some inspiration. If at any time you want to try it out, by the way, the link is in the description below for a free trial of their premium version. It can be pretty fun to use with your friends as well. For example, before I've had a sort of competition with my friends to see who can come up with the most bizarre prompt and artwork result. The premium version of the app allows you to choose between 20 different art styles, there's no ads, it's faster, and it allows you to create an unlimited amount of art with Wonder. If this sounds interesting to you, then click on my link down in the description below to download the Wonder app and try out a free trial of the premium version. Much love to Wonder for sponsoring today's video. So with that being said, this is your boy CDTVProductions, and let's just dive right into it.
I came up in the town, they were murdering kids, and dumped them in the creek up from where I live.
The fact that this is a verse that didn't really stick with me all that much until like 2021 is absolutely wild to me, because this is pretty much the most impressive verse on Birds. In all fairness, this just wasn't a song that I revisited all that frequently until I did my revisited reaction to Birds for my Patreon, and it made me realize that I should have been coming back to this song way more frequently. Oh my god. I should listen to this track more. Andre 3000 is sliding on this so smooth. It certainly goes deeper than a lot of the verses on Birds in the Trap Sing McKnight, with Andre 3000 recounting his memories of growing up in Atlanta during the time of the Atlanta child murders, and the fear that caused knowing that he or one of his friends could very well be one of the victims. It's a haunting verse over a suitably dark and hazy instrumental, and Andre completely stole the show with his 16-bar verse. It's really a great surprise feature that I wish I appreciated earlier because it's so good. Maybe it's not ideal that once Andre finishes, it immediately just smash cuts to Travis going, "Oh yeah!" and rapping about kicking other people's doors down, but it doesn't take away from how impactful 3K's verse is.
Okay, no problem, I show up on every one album, you know what the outcome will be. I'm betting 1,000, it's got to the point that these rappers don't even like rapping with me.
21's I Am Greater Than I Was album was really the start of his evolution into becoming a much more interesting rapper, and he pretty much showcased that from track 1, rapping over a more soulful instrumental, which I don't believe was something he'd actually done at all up to that point, and by having a surprise feature from J. Cole, the one and only Jackman Cole himself. Cole manages to cover so much ground with the stream of consciousness style verse here, talking about how his verse on the track came to be, the fakeness of the music industry, especially when it comes to stuff like streaming numbers, the struggles of 6ix9ine, whose controversy pretty much led to his downfall, and once again alludes to his retirement, which he's been contemplating since like 2016 on one of the good DJ Khaled songs. Now would be a great time to queue up my DJ Khaled video for after this one if you haven't seen it yet, by the way. The verse just goes absolutely anywhere Jonathan Cole's mind wants to take it to, and it sounds amazing with his calm but quick flow over this beautiful instrumental. Boy, it sure would be crazy if 21 Savage returned the favor to J. Cole a few years later.
When I'm in love, I love heavily. If you betray me, you dead to me. I disrespect you respectfully.
Now, just to clear this one up before it gets going, knowing, the features for J. Cole's The Off-Season album are credited on streaming services now, but I distinctly remembered that they weren't when the album came out, so I'm gonna count this one. Clearly 21 Savage decided that he did owe J. Cole a banger verse after a lot, and he delivered on here. Honestly, as a song, I like My Life more than a lot. It's like the hyped up version of that track, and 21's verse on here just sounds so clean. The flow he uses is pretty much the usual 21 Savage feature flow, which, correct me if I'm wrong, is essentially just a triplet flow, but it sounds so clean over this soulful, bouncy beat, and his trademark 21 Savage one-liners hit hard. I'm not necessarily sure if sending teddy bears to the mothers of your victims would come across as a good-hearted move, rather than a sadistic taunt from your child's killer, but that's neither here nor there. Really, it's one of those darkly humorous 21 Savage lines that has a deeper meaning about trying to have a good heart in a cold, ruthless environment, but not really knowing how to actually do so. Cole and 21 Savage did it again on here, and I'm really hoping that they collaborate for a third time because they have not messed together yet. I still don't think I really know all of the words to this verse, or if I know many of them at all, but that's okay because I actually kind of prefer to not completely know what Carti is saying on here. You could say that it's quite mysterious music. Am I by rock? I don't give a fuck about now. All I know is that he said, and she wicked like Wo Vicky, so that's certainly a reference. He is speaking full Cartonese on here, and it's fucking magnificent. They're gonna set me up. They're gonna set me up. It's just the type of song that's so wildly different to anything that I've ever heard him on, but he doesn't sound out of place whatsoever. He manages to make this work with his usual style. In fact, I think it's one of the better Carti features out there. And she wicked, yeah, like Wo Vicky, yeah. Further than that, it's one of my favorite Carti verses out there, just because it's so rare to hear him over something like beautiful pianos and synths that are made to sound warm rather than abrasive. Nothing else needs to be said, really. It's simple but beautiful.
Look at new scenes, I open my life, I'm subject to memes, I signed a few, I polish their dreams, an angel on earth, come under my wing.
Now you might be wondering for this one why I went for Baby Keem's verse on Donda and not something like 504's incredible Off the Grid verse. And the reason for that is simply that I already covered 5EO's Off the Grid verse in a sort of recent video that was also about features. So the only reason that I'm not picking that instead of this is because I've covered that before, but I also really like this. This is still one of my favorite Donda hidden verses, even if Off the Grid is better. Keem had a pretty solid 2021, and this verse was a part of that. It's my favorite verse on the song. Sure, some people might not really enjoy the moments where Keem basically interrupts his own verse to make squeaking sounds and stuff like that, but for me, it just adds to the energy and the hype of the verse. I just think it's cool to hear him experimenting and figuring out his flow while the verse is going on. It's fun. Now, I never really know if Baby Keem is actually saying something with his lyrics or if he's just firing out nonsense that sounds good to listen to, but whatever he's doing on here, it really works for me. It's a pure 2-minute long Baby Keem showcase. His style certainly won't be for everyone, but I thought this slapped. There's at least like 3 or 4 other uncredited features on Donda that absolutely could have qualified for this spot because there's a lot of great features on that album, but this Baby Keem one, it just clicks with me.
Oh, you love me so much, then why'd you let me go?
I can see people maybe questioning why I have this one on here, among other features that are a bit more meaty, you know, features that have a bit more content or lyricism or just excitement to them, but for me, this one is purely about the feeling that it gives off. I mean, if you look at the lyrics themselves, they're super simple, which makes sense because I believe these vocals are from an old Kid Cudi studio session, and he didn't even know that they were going to be used for this song until after it came out, and apparently he wasn't too cool with it, but I personally love the end result. I'll let you in on a not so secret here. I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of Kid Cudi's vocals overall. It's one of the reasons why I don't like the Kids See Ghosts album as much as a lot of other people do. People think that's a crazy take, but that album is like a 5 or a 6. I've said this before, let's not get into that. But there's something about the emotion in his voice on this song that just clicks with me and makes me ascend. Maybe it hits for me extra hard because I slept on this track for my first few years of listening to Yeezus, and I never really replayed it all that much. But now I really appreciate the song and everything about it. Again, it was another song that I revisited while making a Patreon video and discovered that I actually really like it. Fantastic beat on this one too. I love how it switches up and becomes more dramatic and beautiful for Cudi's part.
I was off the push like FedEx. 211 got bread on me. K-Dot Twilight, the zeitgeist, bro, like fried rice and power strip.
This was legitimately the very first one that I thought of when putting together a list for this video. What an insanely great surprise feature artist to have on your album, holy shit. Like, having Kendrick on your song and not listing the feature is a bold move, but it really did just make it all the more shocking and attention grabbing when he did show up. Yeah Right has one of, okay, it keeps focusing on this thing. It keeps focusing on this thing's face, so he's gonna have to take a break right now. Yeah Right has one of the hardest, grimiest, dirtiest beats on Big Fish Theory, and it was a blessing to hear Kendrick over something that sounded so industrial and just straight up hard. I don't even fully grasp everything lyrically about this verse if I'm being completely honest, but it's just the intensity and the energy of Kendrick's delivery that keeps me hooked into it no matter what. And I think now is a good time to remind you guys of that time that I threw this verse together with the start of Who Dat Boy by Tyler the Creator, and it created this insane mashup that almost sounds better than the original to me.
I was off the push like FedEx. 211 got bread on me. K-Dot Twilight, the zeitgeist, bro, like fried rice and power strip. Even on my last 4 kills for the highlight, hot fly, bye-bye.
Who that boy? Who him is?
That was back in the day when you could use any song with Pacemaker, but unfortunately Spotify kind of screwed them over by removing their support for DJ apps, and you can no longer use it like that now, which is a shame. Because you can make mashups like that and they sound crazy. I can't listen to this verse anymore without hearing like the instrumental of Who Dat Boy creeping up over it in my head. But hey, it's still a fantastic verse regardless, and Kendrick absolutely killed it, and once again, it was really bold for Vince Staples to put this as a hidden feature, but I think it was a really good move for this song. So now I'll pass the question over to you guys. What are your favorite uncredited features in rap music, or any genre? Go a little bit crazy. Let me know down in the comments below, and much love again to Wonder for sponsoring today's video. Remember, the link for that is down in the description below. Click here to see me suffering through 13 DJ Khaled albums. Thank you for watching, and much love to all of my Patreon supporters and channel members over here, with a special shout out to my biggest supporters, and those are Big Daddy Foe, Diego Victoriano, Griffin Upchurch, I Am Regent, Lucas1123, and Ryan Shadow 507.